I think I figured out Dragon's Rising's biggest problem, and it all connects to Morrow. I know this is a little confusing, but let's talk about it. So, Morrow, of course, is a fan favorite Ninjago character, the favorite villain and antagonist for a lot of people, and a lot of people are actually pleased with how Dragon's Rising has handled him. Hey, after all, season 3 of Dragon's Rising does a perfect job at how you should return a character back from what they were originally meant to be in the original series. Morrow, of course, was the original student of Master Wu, and with that in mind, he was obviously always gonna have a redemption arc, especially after season 5 with The Departed. However, the way Dragon's Rising went about this was that they introduced the spectral lands into the story, which not only cleared up a lot of the confusion a lot of people had about the cursed realm and the departed realm, but it also gave Morrow a way to actually redeem himself, actually prove to be someone worth holding the title of a ninja. He stayed back instead of moving on to another plane of existence. He himself decided to help out whoever was traveling through these lands and save them from the corrupt soul monsters, no matter even if it cost him his own freedom and life in the process. And this was, of course, really welcomed by a lot of Ninjago fans. People love this. Even I love this a lot. However, the way they've handled Morrow after season 3 has been nothing short of kind of mediocre to even stupid in some places, and that is exactly what I think shows us the biggest problem with Dragon's Rising. It's inconsistent story writing and random character mishaps, which it just tends to do in seasons here and there. Especially in season 4 part 2, which this video will have spoilers for that as well. But even before that, let's move on to my very first reasoning or the first occurrence of mishap in Dragon's Rising with regards to Morrow, which was in season 3 part 2. Season 3 part 2 ends with Lloyd and Aaron inside of the spectral lands when they in fact free the souls of Thunderfang. But my question is, where was Morrow in any of this? This is the exact point in the story where Morrow should have come back into the lands, along with Eagle, of course, but they decided not to go with this at all, maybe because the finale didn't leave enough time for this, or maybe just because they don't want to make Lloyd and Morrow meet again, which would be really cheap in my opinion. This is a big problem I have even with season 4 part 2. That one does it egregiously, terribly, but this one, of course. Why don't they want Morrow meeting any of the old ninjas, man? The entire point behind introducing Morrow back into Dragon's Rising wasn't just that, of course, you want him to be redeemed and you want him to be likable again, which he obviously was, but it was to show how he's grown, and I want him to meet the other ninjas, the older ninjas, the ones who were once his antagonists, his enemies. I want him to meet them again. I want him to reconcile with them. I want him to prove himself to them again. You know, that's what I'm talking about when I think of Morrow and why you'd bring him back. That's like the first thing that comes to my mind. And not having Lloyd especially meet Morrow, man, is that just such bad story writing. But even if it's not bad, you're just missing out a big opportunity and a big moment for both of these characters that you could have given them in less than about 2 minutes of dialogue. With that though, season 4 part 2 just takes this problem to a whole nother level, because in season 4 part 2, and spoilers from here on out guys, we meet General Cryptor, and General Cryptor is revived by the Loyalists, and he is basically the main antagonist for the newer ninjas this season. Now, how do you think this makes sense when you connect it to Morrow? It's because when Frack looks at an image of a blurred out just eye, a red eye, he shouts out General Cryptor. Now, this wouldn't be too big of a problem because if you look back at what we have already established about these characters, Frack is obviously a ninja super fan. It is only expected of him that he would, of course, know who General Cryptor is, of course, right? But he looks at this from a just blurred out image and he decides to throw this out there, okay? And even Aaron supports this idea, but Aaron, of course, thinks to himself, well, General Cryptor, he was someone who already died. He was a type of ninjoid who kind of, he went to the actual departed realm. He wasn't just an android in that sense. And this is what truly fascinates me because Aaron saying all of this is insane. I want you guys to go back to season 3 again. Aaron did not know who Morrow was. He was confused. He did not know who this new ninja was. Now, even if after Morrow tells him, my original master was Sensei Wu, Aaron still does not know who Morrow is. He still does not remember who this is. That's insane to me because Morrow was literally put in the Ninjago museum. Aaron would have obviously known who this is. If he knows this much about General Cryptor, I'm sure he could have just gone 2 steps away to Morrow's statue and understood who he was. But I guess the Ninjago writers just forgot about this or something. It's wild that they genuinely decided to go this way with his character. It genuinely is insane. But even after this, it gets worse because they introduce back Morrow into the story because he, of course, attends the summit of the merged lands. Now, at this summit, you see a master of wind, Euphrasia. You know who was the previous master of wind? Morrow. What are Morrow's thoughts on this new master of wind? Who knows? Maybe it's off screen. Maybe Morrow just forgot everything. That's my point here. They had so much they could have done. You had the power of Morrow in the palm of your hands and you just go ahead and you dismantle all of that and just kind of make him a cameo appearance, if anything. It's genuinely saddening because even after this, by the way, Frack and Aaron see Morrow. They do not know who he is nonetheless. It is wild to me that this is what they decided to do with season 4 part 2. Looking back at it, it is even more hilarious to think that Morrow is standing right here at the first ovation of the summit with the ninjas right in front of him. Man, you stole these people's elements. You were literally inside of one of their friends. One of these people became a ghost because of you. Do you not have anything to say to them except for clap? And do the ninjas not have any thoughts on Morrow being here? It's genuinely just insane when you think about it, and it's really just a big Dragon's Rising problem. It's an inconsistency with characters, and it's just odd that they want cameos to be included in the show, but they don't want to make use of them, which would make sense by the audience's perspective as well. With that being said, though, I still think Dragon's Rising is peak, man. Don't get me wrong, but hey, what's wrong is wrong, and I am just critiquing what I think they absolutely did do wrong with the show. With that being said, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now. Love you guys, and thanks for watching once again.